Most people only use LinkedIn as an online resume. To use it as a marketing tool, put the following recommendations into practice. Hi, I'm Donna Newman. With all the LinkedIn data and tactics out there, this video tutorial isn't something you'll want to miss. So let's get started.
Today's topic is how to set up and dominate LinkedIn, no matter your industry. Hi, this is Donna Newman of Summa Social. Yet domination of LinkedIn is not oftentimes on the radar for most small business owners because they think of LinkedIn as a resume portal. However, LinkedIn can be dominated to help you generate targeted leads within your industry. Recall the first time you heard the saying, "It's not what you know, but it's who you know"? Well, a resume is all about what you know. LinkedIn is about how you apply what you know with whom you know. Once you've added valuable insights to group discussions, status updates, and private messages within your target audience, then these very connections begin to see your value in action and more easily can convert to customers or raving referral partners. So imagine LinkedIn as the world's largest trade show with 135 plus million global members in over 200 industries. So it's a pretty viable platform, certainly as a resume portal, but then when you see it from that vantage point and look at the top 3 benefits of utilizing this platform, you begin to see how you can dominate LinkedIn, and it in turn can help you generate targeted leads. The top 3 benefits of being engaged on LinkedIn include generating more business exposure. Number 2, increasing traffic. And number 3, providing marketplace insight. All of this lends credibility to your expertise, allowing people to come into your sphere of influence or through your marketing funnel, and they begin to know you, like you, and trust you. At that trust stage, of course, they're more easily convertible to working with you and doing business with you. Then we look at the sequence that we at Summa Social work on. It is design, invite, engage, and convert. So the 4 proven strategies to dominate LinkedIn and generate leads is really this sequence or this sales funnel. First, you're going to design to create that powerful first impression. They're seeing your brand in action, demonstrated by your personal brand, but they're seeing the value of your professional brand in action. Second is inviting your target audience. Third is engaging. Engaging enables you to stay top of mind, word of mouth, with your target audience with that powerful first impression, all of which then allows you to have more content out on the internet, and of course that enables your content to be found, which is the backbone for search engine optimization. And finally, the 4th strategy in how to really dominate LinkedIn so it starts to be a lead generator for you is converting. That stage is where you're going to gain more sales, more fans, more connections, more clients, more referral contacts. So let's just jump right in. And the thing about design is it's pretty much a once and done. You don't have to do anything other than minor tweaks along the way, but once you have it, you don't have to look back at design. So the first step inside of design is to upload a good photo. And here, you want to be able to prominently display a photograph that really is engaging, it's a macro image, and it is professional. I'd recommend holding back on having a photograph of you and your family, having a photograph of you and your spouse or significant other, unless the 2 of you are in business together. And I would recommend leaving out the animals, unless, of course, that is modeling your brand. So here, in addition to that, I'd recommend that you have a photograph, perhaps that you've also stamped on the profiles of other platforms, such as this being my LinkedIn. I've got it on my Facebook, I've got it on my Twitter, I've got it on my Pinterest, and this allows me not only to be recognizable real quickly across all the social media platforms, but it is pretty impressive how people offline will recognize me because I've got a consistent social media branding across all those platforms, and then they say, I know you from somewhere, and they easily connect the dots. If I didn't have a photograph, then it would appear such as what's inside of our blue circle. There would just be a silhouette. Very rarely do you have someone that can pull off a silhouette and generate leads, because the end user is interested in seeing the whites of your eyes. They want to get a good read of you. What's the character? And oftentimes people can, of course, judge you at first impression. So be mindful of that. Then the second step in design is a business headline. And this professional headline needs to be an engaging marketing slogan that really demonstrates your value, not a current title, because people aren't as impressed with current titles as they are in the benefits of what your titles can bring them. So case in point for me is that I go ahead and I've written speaker and trainer, simplifies, develops, and executes social media marketing, branding and websites, high content and delivery, and public relations. The interesting thing about this is that you can fill in this content not only with engaging, strong adjectives, but if you fill it in with keywords, this very profile slogan can get you found on the internet, because Google and other search engines really scrub LinkedIn. Case in point is about 3 months ago, I was hired by UBS, the Sonoran team down at the Biltmore Fashion Commerce Center, and they were simply looking on the internet for a social media speaker. The pretty cool conversion here is that my name came up on the very first search page results, and it was my LinkedIn profile that came up with them, along with my speaker profile from NSA as well as 2 videos. So they not only found me as the potential speaker for all of their clients, but they found additional videos that demonstrated my strength in action. So they immediately phoned me up and also sent me an email asking me if I would be interested in speaking with their clients about a social media system. So when you have that, you can easily have conversion not only within LinkedIn, within the search results, but also in the outside search engines. The other 3 options I've shown you below is how some of our clients have written their profile. You can see the one here on the left, just underneath my headshot. This is where a client who doubles as a realtor, one of the top 2% realtors in the state of Arizona, as well as an author, has written hers. Your Premier Team is the name of her company. Remax is where she hangs her hat. And then she has a brand new book. She's author of Kissing Frogs, Tall Tales and Insights in the Dating Pond. Those are keywords for her too, not only within LinkedIn, but also within any search engine. Then on the right-hand side, you see a more focused one relative to attracting C-level executives. And this is Les Taylor, who is the author of Moving from Activity to Achievement. He's a speaker, and he also works one-on-one developing professional enhancements in performance management for either C-level executives themselves or group efforts. And then finally, just to kind of show you a laser focus of a realtor, you can put in a little bit more of a casual presentation. She mentions she's a realtor, tells about the brokerage, and then gives a little personality profile. Either way here, just remember that it's more of a presentation about the benefits that you can bring an end user, and then second, filling that with keywords that if people were to use those very keywords to search for you, would they find you? Then we look at number 3, inputting your email as your last name. This is a pretty effective coup that I find very few people using. The reason I add it is because within a search for Donna Newman or social media, someone had used these keywords, social media. I came up within the top 5 drop-down results, and I had every available call to action on my profile. I had my first and last name. I had the social media keywords that were used to find me. I had a strong call to action in my marketing slogan. And finally, I had an email. So the email address allows people not to even have to go to my profile, but to immediately, should they be interested in contacting me, to copy that email and send me an invitation. So one of the ways to do this so that you have not only your information but your call to action available in a search result is to look at the first field, which is where you're filling normally your first name only. I put my first name and last name. The second is this last name field. I fill that with my email address. This is a very effective tip because we know that users don't have a lot of time, and this helps them not to do one more click and be distracted. Looking at a Chinese menu, it is pretty easy to get overwhelmed, and oftentimes when I head into a Chinese restaurant, if I don't already have a favorite on the menu, I have no idea what to order. Case in point is that I oftentimes go to a local Thai restaurant and my clients always ask me, Donna, I don't even know, I have no idea. What do you recommend? And of course, there's one item on the menu that's my go-to item every time. The same is true with you. There are so many people on LinkedIn that you want to be the one that is within the red ring. And how you do that is to make sure that you have completed your profile with 100% accuracy. The nice thing about this is LinkedIn will walk you through so that if there are any outstanding areas, they will let you know you're 70% finished, 80% finished, all the way up to 100%. And then frequently through your logging in, LinkedIn will let you know additional elements or fields that they want you to complete, which allows your profile to be more intact, weightier, and be likely to pull up higher in the search results. So here, if I were to, as you can see, in filling out my entire profile, I have highlighted my keywords: social media marketing, my name. When you're filling out your profile, you don't want to just do it to get it done. You want to think about it from the vantage point of the user. What do they want to know about you? And that always circulates around, what are the benefits in working with Donna Newman? And it needs to link up with the keywords, which identifies their pain points and solutions to those pain points. So within here, I put social media marketing because a lot of times it can be the biggest anomaly for a lot of my clients, and they don't know how to make it work for them, and they don't know how to do convert. So make sure that your profile is populated with the keywords, the very keywords that people would use to find you. Second, also make it conversational. Don't make it be so academic that it's really a struggle to get through the first line. Make it engaging. And then third, make sure that when people read it, they really can see the benefits. The benefits literally pop off the page with some of the adjectives, the action verbs that you're using. That way it gives a strong imagery to people in what they could experience should they choose to work with you. And here is a huge advantage that's oftentimes overlooked. When you customize your link websites with keywords, you are really engaging people with a strong call to action. Oftentimes over here in websites where it lists other, that is populated with the word website. So when you do go to your websites, you can click edit, then you see these arrows. Go ahead and click on that, and at the very bottom is going to be other. Once you click on other, you automatically open up this middle column. Here you can identify customized titles for each of those websites. And it doesn't have to be a website, but it can be a link to your blog. It can be a link to a free search if you're a realtor. It can be linked to a promotion if you're a dentist. It can be a link to your free excerpt if you're a new author. But these are tangible calls to action that will allow your content to be a benefit to a user. So here's an example of what you can write in there. Free home search, again, if you're a realtor. 4 ways Summa Social can help you, and I can actually put that to a landing page hosted on our website. Free excerpt of a new book that can go to an author's website. 3 tips to get your kids to floss. can actually go to a blog on a dental website. The main thing to remember here is that you have a lot of options to customize your strong calls to action. People don't want to just go to your site for the sake that it's a website, even though it might be super cool. They don't understand the value in it for them. So show them by putting a customized title on it, and then you can put a link in the third column. Embedding a video or a PDF is the sixth design element that you can do. And this is a powerful, lasting, very creative impression that people get. So this is as powerful as meeting you in person. The video would show your talent, the slideshow would show your skill, the article could show your insights. The whole objective here is if you are at least on the first tier of the payment structure of LinkedIn, does not apply to the free site, you have the option to put more engaging elements within your profile. So here you can engage them, you can educate them, you can entertain them, and you do it all within a three-dimensional experience. You are allowing a very tangible takeaway and an encouragement for someone to call you. That way, when they call you in the first place or follow up with you, they feel as though they already know you, they like you, and they can trust working with you. So this allows your resume to come to life. Then we look at the second in the whole proven ways to dominate LinkedIn to generate leads, and that is invite. Here you get a chance to create your visibility. So the first thing I recommend is to start with creating a connection strategy and just spend a few minutes here thinking about who do you want to connect with, why do you want to connect with them. Some people say to me, I have an open book policy. I'm interested in connecting with everybody I've ever either sent an email with or done business with. Other people are a little bit more laser targeted and intentional, and they only want to focus on people that are in their niche market or have a direct, immediate alliance to. And that oftentimes could be current clients or immediate past clients. And then there's some people who say, you know what, I'm just not interested in connecting with everybody because most everybody is actually in the next cubbyhole or the next office. And oftentimes those people are doing the exact same industry mining that you are, which doesn't add a value to you if all you're doing is posting and connecting with people who are exactly in your office, exactly within your company. So here, when you put together your strategy, it could be that you're going to be sending out an email to all of your clients that have ever engaged with you on that email. Within that email, usually LinkedIn will send out a general email, mildly customized, and you can determine of all of the connections related to that email address, who would you like to send it to, and you can unclick those people that you don't want it to be sent to. And then you can strategically target your audience based upon an advanced search, and I'll show you that in the convert side. So here we are at number 2 of the invitation stage, personalizing your invitation. Here, when you want to connect with someone, one of the best ways to avoid getting turned down is to make sure that you don't do what just LinkedIn gives you. Inside of the subject, it would be want to connect with you, and then inside of the body of the letter would be I'd like to add you to my connections. And that, from my own personal experience, will get you turned down, because if I don't recognize how we've met or what our connections are, I'm not going to accept you. And that's oftentimes how a lot of people are doing business on LinkedIn. So if you want to make sure that your connection is well worth your doing it in the first place, make sure that there are some trigger words in there that give you that immediate identification with how you met the person and why would you want to connect with them in the first place. And that is exactly what I did with Les Taylor, who is the past president of the National Speakers Association down at the Arizona Bureau. On a Saturday, I had met him for the first time. He was talking, and we had an opportunity to talk about one of his pain points, which just so happened to line up with one of my strengths. So I followed up with him, and in the subject matter, I took out that generic one that LinkedIn offers, and I wrote, "Sure enjoyed meeting you at NSA on Saturday." And then again, I took out the generic body of the letter and I added, "Hi Les, loved your story of the police officer and the stoplights. Even my middle daughter knows firsthand the value of moving from action to achievement, especially in a group project." On another note, you mentioned your website was under attack, being hacked as you spoke. Well, that's my skill set. If you'd like to take back the controls of your website, I'd love to show you how we can help you. Look forward to hearing from you. All my best, Donna. This is an ideal approach to getting people to respond to your letters with connecting with you. And second, it gives you an opportunity to move into maybe doing business with them. And the nice thing, the outcome of this was that I had the privilege to work on Les Taylor's site, and now he's pretty happy with his brand new website. Email invitation. This is one of the strategies that you want to use for your communication if you want to have a pretty quick influx of new connections. Easy enough to do is adding your email and adding a password, clicking continue. Just a note here is that LinkedIn doesn't store your password, so no need to worry about the security clearance. And when this email is sent out, LinkedIn allows it to be semi-customized, where you are having your name, your profile pic, so again, a good reason for having a strong profile picture, and you're having your marketing slogan, another good reason to have a strong call to action on benefits and keywords. One of the examples is a client who is a recent author. She identified one of her email addresses, and within 3 days, she had 700 new connections. And one of those connections had sent her a LinkedIn email saying that they were so impressed by her marketing slogan that they went out to her website and immediately ordered her book. It was a pretty special email that she had gotten and an affirmation that this book was meant to be. So this can quickly happen to you as well with adding your email, adding a password, and you can add that for multiple email platforms. Boosting your Google rank. This is oftentimes an area that people overlook, but this is one of those once you do it, you never look back kind of approaches. So here on your LinkedIn profile, if you really want to boost your Google rank, and who doesn't, and come up higher in the search results, one of the quickest ways to do that is to customize your vanity URL for LinkedIn. That way, you will show up in more search results, not only in LinkedIn, but any outside search engine. So you go to your personal profile, you click edit, and then the tool right to the immediate right of your LinkedIn URL, you can customize. Adding your name is ideal. You could add your company if that was important, but remember that your company is going to be associated to your profile, and once you've done this, you can never change it. At least that's the way it is in LinkedIn currently. And for example, with mine, I couldn't secure Donna Newman because that already belongs to a fabulous photographer in Florida. So I had to secure it using my first name, last name, and my middle initial. Then we look at that third proven way to dominate LinkedIn, and that is engage. And you can start here with a status update. This allows you to demonstrate what you're working on, creating an original post, and being current with what's happening in your industry. So 2 examples here. I put in things change and so does the way you do business. Social media is not a fad. Here's your social media tip. And that links off to one of our Facebook blogs that we had put on there. The second idea that you can do is, this is where I was identifying one of my clients and showing a metric that can happen when you do social media correctly. One of my favorite dental clients in New Jersey, who didn't have a lot of experience with social media, was just following simple steps in putting together a social media platform and in writing a little bit on Facebook. And one of the things they had a conversion in within the first hour was they got 12 likes, 4 comments, and 1 share on one of their posts. And it was pretty fun because the dentist is in the front office and he's looking at his grandson who is tooling around Facebook and the internet far faster than even his granddad knows how to do. So it got a lot of engagement, And I wanted to demonstrate to my LinkedIn connections that when you do something simple and you do it in an engaging way that's part of your brand, you can have conversion. And in this case, it was more engagement. And that engagement now allowed his content to go viral, meaning more people were looking at it because his fans were engaging, and when his fans started engaging, then the friends of those fans started seeing the content from this New Jersey dentist. And that was an opportunity for him to expose his expertise and the fun of his office to a bigger audience. Recommendations. Well, there's nothing better here than giving a recommendation and following that golden rule. Doing unto others as you want done unto yourself. So one of the best ways that I highly recommend getting more exposure is to give a recommendation. Here, if you make a recommendation, you're going to be looking at that top navigation of your LinkedIn where you're going to see profile. That drop down then will show you recommendations as the third option. And you simply are going to be putting in their first name, last name, and you do need to know what their email is. And then you identify one of the areas that you had worked together or you know this person from. The cool thing here is that by following that golden rule, then LinkedIn says, now, would you like to review this recommendation and accept it so it posts on your profile? And if you say yes, it does. And then that second question from LinkedIn is, would you like to return the favor? So that do unto others as you want done unto you oftentimes comes back with your connection making a recommendation for you. Think about who within your sphere of influence you can unconditionally recommend with a strong influence. Also remember, the cool thing here too is that not only do you get them to do it for you, but when you're stamping their LinkedIn profile, your content is going to be there, meaning that your name is going to be there, your photograph is going to be there, and those two items will be hyperlinked back to your profile. So when someone is looking to do business with your colleague, they will have an opportunity to see your recommendation to seal their deal, and or it also gives them a chance to be able to look at you. So this is a great targeted way to engage a different sphere and have a bigger influence. Then we look at joining a group, and sometimes this can be a little intimidating for new users on LinkedIn, but this is one of the most unsung opportunities for you to demonstrate your expertise and really build a nice funnel of new prospects. So here inside of groups, again, going back to that top navigation menu of LinkedIn, you would click on groups, you would see groups that you're a part of, and you can even create a group. The benefits that are immediate to being a part of a group is that it shows your expertise because you can add value, you can add input to what questions people have, you can get advice, and case in point here is that I love the National Speakers Association, that international group that is on LinkedIn, because I am new to the speaking world and there's so many strong veterans who have paved the way with knowing how to do things better or know how to do things when I don't, and I get some really solid advice from people. They're very generous. You can grow your network with people of similar interest, and that is my experience with NSA. Targeted prospects. Here, if you identify a group based upon who are your targeted clients that you would love to work with, then that group is full of people that you can add value to, and that allows you then to create opportunities. Convert is that final proven way to dominate LinkedIn. And we've got 4 ways to do that. One of the ways is if you are at the top of your game and you're really good at what you do, you've got plenty of answers to a lot of questions. So LinkedIn has a really great tool for you. You can actually set up a search for keywords and get instant notifications that are within a question, thereby allowing you to follow up from your email notification with an answer. And this then allows the person who posted the question to review all the answers coming in, and they can rank which answer was the best or which ones were better. And over time, as you begin to add valuable input to questions through your expertise, you can eventually become a 4-star general, so to speak. You can have a lot of stars next to your name, and that is social proof that you are an expert of your industry and you really add value within your sphere of influence. Who's looking at you? This is an option that isn't available to the free LinkedIn, but if you are on that first paid tier or above, you have an excellent opportunity to follow up with people who are looking at your personal profile. And here are 3 examples of what happened to me. Karen Johnson was looking at my profile, as well with Charlotte Gray, and these 2 are realtors. Summa Social has a wonderful outreach to a lot of local realtors whereby we create good marketing systems, and they in turn are able to stay in contact with past clients and generate new leads. So I took advantage of knowing that Karen and both Charlotte had looked at my profile. I did 2 things. I sent them a LinkedIn email, and second, I called them. I noticed that they might be interested in some of the expertise that I have based upon them being realtors, and with our background in helping a lot of local realtors, wanted to know if I could have a few minutes of their time to see what they're doing relative to how we can help them enhance it or at least start it and build it for them. So by doing that, I had an opportunity to be hired by Karen, and I had an opportunity to be hired by Charlotte. Now the thing is that had they just looked at my profile, they could have easily been distracted and moved on. They may never have called me. But by me noticing that they looked at my profile, I followed up with them by sending them a LinkedIn message because I wanted them to have that immediate connection with why I would be contacting them. And then oftentimes, because a lot of people do not go back in their LinkedIn profile on a regular basis like they would their email, I went ahead and I gave them a phone call, just drawing that connection again. The third example is another fun example whereby I was hired, like I mentioned earlier, by the Sonoran Group, the UBS, down at that financial district in Phoenix at 24th Street and Camelback. Well, Stephen had actually been looking at my profile, and I wasn't immediately understanding the connection until the Sonoran Group let me know that they were paying personally for half of my speaking, and then Guggenheim Investments was going to be paying for the balance. So I immediately then connected the dots, and Guggenheim Investments flew out Stephen from Chicago to be a part of my speaking engagement that I had done on behalf of UBS for several of their clients. So fun for me to be able to connect with him, and then he asked me if I would be interested in traveling and maybe doing some more of those presentations about social media for business brokers that would live within the Chicago area. So this really is a proven opportunity for you to be able to follow up with people, and they're warm leads. They remember having connected with you. I'd highly recommend you looking at your link at least once a week so that you don't make that a cold lead. Convert and following up. This is one area that will add another big feather in your cap if you do it correctly. I had an opportunity to speak at Smart Practice and be their kickoff speaker for their CE classes or their continuing education dental classes. Well, Kristen had brought me in, and I had the privilege to be in that position. A year goes by, as is indicated by the 21st of May here on 2012, and I sent her a follow-up email because I was talking with one of her colleagues over at the Arizona Dental Association, who in turn told me that the golf tournament was a raving success, and thank you, Donna, for being a part of the first kickoff CE class. We're looking forward to more of them. So then I sent to Kristen over at Smart Practice, how was this year's class? And she in turn said, I was sitting with Jim Rohde, one of the owners, talking about what a nice tool LinkedIn is. Of course we viewed you. He's very proud of your accomplishments. The golf group ended up skipping the class this year and instead focusing on a second course. I hope Smart Practice is able to host more CE classes. We should brainstorm. So the opportunity for me when I reached out to Kristen after a year gave me an additional conversation where within that conversation we can come up with more ideas and how I can add value to either Smart Practice or their end clients, which are dentists. Convert number 4, advanced search. This is really the creme de la creme. It's the pinnacle of the design, invite, engage process. Here, when you get to convert on the advanced search, it is the gem of dominating LinkedIn, and it allows you to generate really targeted leads. Up in the top navigation right side, to the right of that search box within LinkedIn, you're going to see the word advanced. In this example, you see it in the yellow. When you do this, you can laser target your ideal audience of new prospects. Here, for example, you can add in the keywords. What keywords do people who are your target audience tend to write within their marketing profile? What key title do they have? Maybe everybody has a similar or the same title. Maybe you want to focus on people who are located within a city, within a state, within a certain zip code. Or maybe they went to a certain school. Maybe they are all within the same company. Then you can filter it further by identifying the industry. Maybe you only want to talk with people who are in accounting. Maybe you only want to talk to English-speaking people who are in accounting within this specific zip code with that specific title. So you can actually filter it down even more, and that allows your final list, sorted by relevance, to be focused and targeted for you. 5 easy ways to allow your lead generation to be a successful outcome starts with number 1, identifying your industry or the career titles, and that's where you go in and put your keywords and go through the filtering system of what that advanced search allows you to do. Second is joining groups that targeted prospects are members of. Here you might find that there's a lot of common denominators to those groups, and you might join them because that's where your clients are or your prospective clients. And second, you might join those groups because they interest you. Then number 3, personalize an intro message. Here, if you go ahead and create a boilerplate every single time you have a new message that you want to send to one of those group members, you can copy it and paste it into a LinkedIn message, only tweaking the greeting and then the closing. That saves you a lot of time and allows you to delegate the task to somebody else on your team. Number 4 is you can identify group members who fit your target audience. And that's where when you've got your boilerplate message, you can immediately open up a Facebook inbox sending your targeted members in a message. It could be a presentation about what your company does. It could be that you want to connect because you have mutual people in common. I would encourage you not to do an outright pitch, but to identify some common denominators or a common denominator that gets you that conversation. And then finally, you want to make this all worth it. So you can certainly save your searches inside of LinkedIn, and then offline you can save it within an Excel file, thereby allowing other team members to be able to participate in the status of when the message was sent out and how you're following up. The main thing here when you are setting up LinkedIn is to know that the design is all once and done. The invitation is on a regular basis, the engagement is on a regular basis, and then the conversion gives you an opportunity to really laser target your focus. But kind of going back to that Chinese menu, there's a lot of options there. There's a lot of people vying for your attention. There's a lot of other people within your industry who are getting attention. Unless you put in the correct keywords within your profile message, a powerful first impression, and you create an engagement with your target audience that is consistent and it's giving them an opportunity to see your expertise in action and develop a rapport with you. So just like this young man here is he's skyrocketing over some heavy traffic that wants to thwart him from getting that bucket. His main thing, however, is to get the bucket. And your main thing amidst all the options that I've talked about today is to really set up LinkedIn so that it is a simple process for you, following some of the bullets that I've identified, so that your main thing is to keep LinkedIn more than a resume, but a tool to generate leads on a regular basis so that you have a warm market to work with and you can then follow up and do some really strong business. Making the bucket for yourself would be conversion. These 4 proven ways to dominate LinkedIn will help you launch LinkedIn, not just with a design and that powerful first impression, but it will help you to dominate LinkedIn in the search results, plus really generate laser-targeted leads. That way, your content and your engagement will help you influence future sales, get more connections and members talking about your brand, and stamp more content on the search engines. There's nothing better than marketing that works, and now you've got 4 proven ways to dominate LinkedIn. Thanks for joining us.
LinkedIn can be a valuable business tool to you to grow your business and catapult your career. So implement these strategies to help you use LinkedIn to produce results. Remember, LinkedIn is much more than a resume. Join me next time for another LinkedIn marketing tutorial. But in the meantime, feel free to send me a LinkedIn message whenever you'd like a LinkedIn insight we haven't covered, or just say hi.